Fatherland Videos. Today, we have All American Folktale book to read. Today's folktale comes from the book of QPB, Treasury of North American Folktales, edited by Catherine Peck, introduction by Charles Johnson. Today's folktale is coming off of page 321. Strawberries. Long ago, in the very first days of the world, there lived the first man and the first woman. They lived together as husband and wife, and they loved one another dearly. But one day they quarreled, although neither later could remember what the quarrel was about. The pain grew stronger with every word that was spoken, until finally, in anger and in grief, the woman left their home and began walking away to the east toward the rising sun. The man sat alone in his house, but as time went by, he grew lonelier and lonelier. The anger left him, and all that remained was a terrible grief and despair, and he began to cry. A spirit heard the man crying and took pity on him. The spirit said, "Man, why do you cry?" The man said, "My wife has left me." The spirit said, "Why did your woman leave?" The man just hung his head and said nothing. The spirit asked, "You quarreled with her?" And the man nodded. "Would you quarrel with her again?" asked the spirit. The man said, "No." He wanted only to live with his wife as they had lived before, in peace, in happiness, and in love. "I have seen your woman," the spirit said. "She is walking to the east, toward the rising sun." The man followed his wife, but he could not overtake her. Everyone knows an angry woman walks fast. Finally, the spirit said, "I'll go ahead and see if I can make her slow her steps." So the spirit found the woman walking, her footsteps fast and angry, and her gaze fixed straight ahead. There was pain in her heart. The spirit saw some huckleberry bushes growing along the trail, So with the wave of his hand, he made the bushes burst into blossom and ripen into fruit. But the woman's gaze remained fixed. She looked neither to the right nor the left, and she didn't see the berries. Her footsteps didn't slow. Again, the spirit waved his hand, and one by one, all of the berries growing along the trail burst into bloom and ripened into fruit. But still, the woman's gaze remained fixed. She saw nothing but her anger and pain, and her footsteps didn't slow. Again, the spirit waved his hand, and one by one, the trees of the forest, the peach, the pear, the apple, the wild cherry, burst into blossom and ripened into fruit. But still, the woman's eyes remained fixed. And even still, she saw nothing but her anger and pain, and her footsteps didn't slow. Then finally, the spirit thought, I will create an entirely new fruit, one that grows very, very close to the ground. So the woman must forget her anger and bend her head for a moment. So the spirit waved his hand, and the thick green carpet began to grow along the trail. Then the carpet became starred with tiny white flowers, and each flower gradually ripened into a berry that was the color and the shape of the human heart. As the woman walked, she crushed the tiny berries, and the delicious aroma came up through her nose. She stopped and looked down, and she saw the berries. She picked one and ate it, and she discovered its taste was as sweet as love itself. So she began walking slowly, picking berries as she went. And as she learned down to pick a berry, she saw her husband coming behind her. The anger had gone from her heart, and all that remained was the love she had always known. So she stopped for him, and together they picked and ate the berries. Finally, they returned to their home, where they lived out their days in peace, happiness, and love. And that's how the very first strawberries brought peace between man and woman in the world, and why to this day they are called the berries of love.